of the regulatory framework for the coffee standards of the subsector. The bill further seeks to promote farm-based associations or platforms for representation on matters farmers' interests, and also provide for framework for the establishment of the Coffee Stabilization Fund. This particular bill on the coffee bill has been fronted to further boost the interest of farmers in the coffee sector, owing to the fact that previously farmers have decried how the management of the coffee industry have been previously held by a few officials. And so the coffee bill, this being a bill from the Senate, Bill number 22 of the year 2020, is set to streamline issues in the coffee sector.
I ordered for the quorum bell to be rung for a further 5 minutes.
Further 5 minutes have been given to the House this morning, and this is in line to the standing orders number 34 subsection 2C on the lack of quorum by the National Assembly this morning. This being a delay of over 15 minutes, as according to the norm with the House, the business of the House kicks off by 9:30 in the morning. And so in the next 5 minutes, we wait and see if the House will have raised the requisite number for it to commence business this morning. You can also follow up on this live broadcast on our YouTube channel, and that is on KBC Channel 1, as well as on Parliament of Kenya, as well as on Signet on Bunge TV. The Health Amendment Bill by Kandara Member of Parliament, Honorable Alice Wahome, Bill number 28 of the year 2020, is a bill at the second stage, and members of Parliament will be making their inputs. And this is in regards to the amendments proposed in that particular bill. The Chief Whip of the National Assembly, Honorable Member for Navaholo, that is Emmanuel Wangwe, has just stepped out of the chambers this morning. And this is to get to see if in the next 4 minutes he is going to raise the number of members of Parliament making their way into the chamber. Remember, this happens to be the last call for members to make their way into the chamber after the allocation of the first 10 minutes, and now the extra 5 minutes, after which, if at least 50 members of Parliament will not have made their way into the chamber, then the Speaker has no other choice other than adjourn business until 2:30, when the House is again set to sit today. The National Construction Authority, this being an amendment bill number 45 of the year 2020 by Honorable David Gikaria, is a bill that has been lined up for debate. The House, after having lacked quorum yesterday in the evening and was forced to adjourn, will also retreat into the Committee of the Whole House and consider the remaining clauses under the coffee bill, this being a bill by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Agriculture and Matters Livestock. The National Government Constituencies Development Fund Amendment Bill, Bill number 34 of the year 2021 by Honorable Member for Butere, Honorable Tindi Mwale, is a bill for consideration before the floor this morning. And so is the Whistleblower Protection Bill, Bill number 50 of the year 2020 by Honorable Irene Kasalo, the Poverty Eradication Authority Bill, Bill number 13 of the year 2020 by Honorable John Waluke, is also another bill that the House is set to consider this morning. And so is the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, Bill number 20 of the year 2020 by Honorable Member for Thika Town, Honorable Patrick Wainaina. The Sexual Offences Amendment Bill, Bill number 24 of the year 2020 by Honorable Member for Kiambu County, Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba, is a bill that members will be making their input on this particular morning. The Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, Honorable Ukur Yatani, having raised proposals in the Finance Bill on the additional of taxes on matters luxury, we await to see what the House says on the Alcoholics Drinks Control Amendment Bill, this being Bill number 35 of the year 2020 by Honorable Danson Mwakuwona. And this particular bill, Bill number 35 of the year 2020, is a bill at the second stage. The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, Bill number 41 of the year 2020, is a bill awaiting debate on the floor this morning. Remember, the business of the House is at standstill this morning, and this owes to the fact that the House lacks the requisite quorum to enable it commence business this morning. And this follows the directive by the Speaker as well, that the House is further allocated 10 and 5 minutes to allow members make their way into their chambers this morning. The Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Bill number 11 of the year 2021 by Honorable Member for Garissa Town, Honorable Ed Nduale, is a bill at the second stage. And we await to see what members of Parliament will be contributing to that particular bill. The Pharmacy and Poisons Amendment Bill, bill by Honorable Member for Nandi Hills, Honorable Alfred Kiter, Bill number 1 of the year 2020, is also another bill that has been lined up for debate before the floor this morning. There being a total number of 35 bills that has been lined up for debate before the floor this morning, we are waiting to see if the National Assembly indeed commences business this morning to allow members make their input in regards to various bills and amendments proposed to particular bills on the order paper this morning. Members of the National Assembly making their way into the chamber this morning, and the sergeant at arms on your screens, seeking to ensure that they are at par with the number of members of Parliament making their way into the chamber this morning to ascertain if indeed the number is achieved. According to the signage, only a few are remaining to allow the House raise the number this morning. And two of the motions that have been given priority is the exemption of the business from the provisions of Standing Orders number 40, subsection 3, and this being businesses not sponsored by the majority as well as minority party, or matters business sponsored by a committee. Another motion that has been given priority is the report of the Committee of the Whole House, and this is on the consideration of the Committee of the Community, the Community Health Workers Bill, this being Bill number 30 of the year 2020 by Honorable Martin Owino. And the motion states that the House adopts or does agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Community Health Workers Bill, Bill number 30 of the year 2020. And this particular bill had already been considered by the House, as it's at the second or the third stage, and what remains is for the question to be put for members.
Order, members. We can now begin business.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. You have a paper?
Honorable Marty, you have a paper.
Yes, please. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, April 13, 2022, morning sitting. Report of the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on its consideration of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2021. I thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
We have a question by the member for Nairobi County, Honorable Pasaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning through the Committee on Lands. Could the Cabinet Secretary state the current ownerships of the parcels of land reference numbers 209/9945, 209/9946, 209/9947, 209/9948, 209/9949, and 209/11975, located at Deep Sea area, located in Westland Sub-County in Nairobi County, as there is an ongoing dispute where the current occupants are facing imminent evictions. 2, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the historical aspects of the said parcels of land with regard to the change of ownership from the original to the current owner and occupants, and whether payments of the land rent and rates were being submitted to the government as required by law? 3, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of the disputed parcel of land, state when and the manner in which it was acquired, and indicate whether there has been any interest in the said by private developers within the last 5 years? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Pasaris, the questions I have before me are different from what you read. Are you reading what is on the order paper?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
So Roman 1 was okay. Can you read Roman 2?
Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the historical aspects of the said parcel of land with regard to change of ownership from...
Is that your Roman 2?
Yes.
Then you have a different order paper.
I got it from the table office this morning, Madam
But
Speaker.
are those your questions?
Sorry?
Are those,
Yes.
Are those the authentic questions?
Yes, but yesterday they said that they had taken it. I mean, if the correct one is here, I could take it and read it.
Yes, could you pick an order paper? Somebody maybe who has, the clerks could give you the order paper that I have, because
Madam Speaker, do I start from the beginning?
yes, for the record,
Yes.
just have a go at it again.
Madam Speaker, the question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Lands and Physical Planning. Could the Cabinet Secretary state the current ownership of the parcels of land reference numbers 209/9945, 209/9946, 209/9947, 209/9948, 209/9949, and 209/11975, located at Deep Sea area, located in Westland Sub-County in Nairobi County, where there is an ownership dispute and the current occupants are facing evictions. Number two, could the Cabinet Secretary state the manner in which the land was acquired and disclose the names of any persons laying claim to it, including private developers who may have indicated an interest in developing the said land within the last 5 years? Three, could the Cabinet Secretary detail the history of the said parcels of land, including original ownerships, any changes in the ownerships, and clarify whether the land and land rates have been remitted to the government in accordance to the law? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, that's fine. Clerks, you need to find out why we have two different texts in the order paper. So the Honorable Passaris, your question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Lands. Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, exemption of business from the provisions of Standing Order 43.
Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion.
There is a member who is raising his hand. I'm sorry, I cannot tell. Oh, is that the member from Avoko? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let's
Madam Speaker, is a matter of concern. The question that Honorable Esther Passaris has raised. Madam Speaker, in this House, so many questions about land ownership and the demolitions. Madam Speaker, I've come to this House. It has continued, demolitions have continued despite the President and despite the National Security Committee meeting and saying that there won't be any more demolitions unless a serious consensus has been met to determine who is the actual owner of those parcels. Madam Speaker, I think this House has a right to summon the persons, the CS lands, and even the CS interior, so that they give a clarity to Kenyans as to when and at what point should Kenyans be subjected to demolitions. Because, Madam Speaker, issuance of title deeds to private persons or entities has become the normal. Madam Speaker, I think this House must stamp its authority on such, because I hear her being the Member of Parliament Nairobi, and me being the Member of Parliament Mavoko, Madam Speaker, where Mavoko is the bedroom Nairobi, we have had such cases, and people's property is being destroyed, and Madam Speaker, demolitions are ongoing, despite members bringing questions and statements, seeking statements. Madam Speaker, how I wish you could do a determination and rule that all questions that relate to demolitions brought to this House must be addressed now, Madam Speaker, before even the elections. Because, Madam Speaker, the country is porous, and we cannot increase by demolitions ongoing. So, Madam Speaker, I request that you do some ruling towards that. Thank you. I thank you.
Honorable Makau, you're right. Any matter, and I wish you were speaking to specific questions, because anything that is referred to a committee, they're supposed to look into it. And indeed, the committees have a right to summon the CSS and the channels of how to process, up to even summonses where CSS are not responsive. And even beyond that, our standing orders provide for sanctioning of members of the cabinet who do not become responsive to such issues. I don't know if we have the Lance Chair here, but or the Vice Chair or somebody who can speak to it. Yet again, Honorable Makau, you may not have been specific to say that there is a certain question which was brought and has not been addressed within a stipulated time, because then we would be able to follow and find out why. Anybody from Lance, are there many pending? Honorable Makau, have you brought any question that has not been addressed?
Madam Speaker.
Do you have any specifics that you can speak to?
Yeah, I did bring about the Portland land issue. I brought to this house.
A question.
It was actually, I was seeking a statement from the CS lands.
How much time were you given?
And the CS industrialization. And I was seeking, because there was a consensus that was built that the locals in Mavoko were supposed to be consulted and involved in the sale of Portland land. But, Madam Speaker, houses were demolished, and the land was, a new title deed was issued to the Ministry of Housing, and since 2020 November, nothing has been done on that land. Yet, property worth billions was destroyed. So, Madam Speaker, that's why I was seeking clarity.
So are you sought a statement? Did you?
I had sought a statement.
Did the CS appear to respond?
I had sought a statement, but she never appeared. And Madam Speaker, you know, naturally, when you bring petitions to this house, after 60 days, I think, it lapses. So after it lapses, Madam Speaker, I never brought it back. And I think at this moment is when I thought.
But Honorable Makau, you said you sought a statement. Now you're talking about a petition.
Yeah, there was a petition, then a statement, then the then CS, even Madam Speaker, visited the said land, and nothing has been done. So, Madam Speaker, the hope of those affected persons were in this house. And it seems like, I don't know whether the implementation committee is doing anything about those petitions and those statements.
Lands Committee, who is here from Lands? Or Implementation Committee? Honorable Washiali, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker. I listened to what Honorable Pasari said, and now Honorable Patrick Makau. Being a ranking member of this committee, Madam Speaker, I pledge to pass these sentiments to the committee because I have not seen the chair nor deputy. I'll pass over these sentiments to the committee. But what I had wanted to just add, Madam Speaker, is that demolitions are not only associated with land ownership. There are other demolitions that are associated with the environmental issues, and therefore we need to look at each case independently so that we take note of whatever reason that Madam Honorable Pasaris was raising. Otherwise, I will mention this. The other aspect that I would really wish to mention here, Madam Speaker, is that the Committee of Lands has been a very proactive committee, and that we have tried as much as we can to solve land issues, even though there are quite a number of issues that are associated with land. But as a committee, we are very committed, and I'm sure we shall find a solution to this. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
So that we can move on, since you are ranking member, Honorable Washiali, and the Honorable Macau has raised a concern about, which is sort of related to what Honorable Pasaris is raising. If the people of Mavoko were subjected to evictions, as Honorable Macau is stating, after presenting a statement and a petition, as he's saying, then we need to just put that into perspective and understand how that happened. So in the afternoon, please brief your chair. In the afternoon, let the chair come and clarify on that particular issue this afternoon. Then we can make sure that we don't become a talk shop in this house, so that we speak about, members speak about issues, and there is no end to it, and Kenyans are not being getting the help they are seeking through their representatives. So it's a weighty issue that Honorable Macau is raising. So let us have the chair Lance come and clarify in the afternoon, so that we can make some progress. Honorable Ondo? No, Okello, sorry, Honorable Okello.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My sister, Honorable Esther Pasaris, has raised a pertinent concern on this demolition issue. But I want to believe that even though that has happened, that sufficient notice was given, and additionally, that they do not turn to be economic saboteurs. At a time when we don't have fuel, children will be stuck in few weeks before they report to school, and people are out there demolishing businesses. So this needs to be expedited by the Lands Committee. A response is given in good time so that we don't engage in a charade at the end of the day. And I thank you, Madam Speaker.
We will have the Lands Chair just give us a statement on what is happening on the lands issues. Let's move on, honorable members. Yes, so Leader of Majority, you're on the floor.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion, that this House orders that the business appearing as orders number 10, 11, 13, and 14 in the order paper be exempted from the provisions of Standing Order number 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Honorable Speaker, the essence of my appeal this morning to the House is Wednesday's morning is allocated for private members' business, but cognizant of the fact that we only have today and tomorrow before we go for recess, and we have some urgent business to transact, we thought it might be prudent to dispose of some of the very urgent business now, and then some in the afternoon, and hopefully tomorrow, bearing in mind that tomorrow there's nominations for affecting, a whole section of this parliament, and hence we might have challenges. So the earlier we can dispose of some of this business, the better, so that we give people time to concentrate on their nominations for tomorrow. And hence, the appeal is that we members allow that we take part of the morning to transact that business and then revert back to the private members. So it's really a convenience issue, and we've also been taking some of the private members' issues into the afternoons, so it's a give and take. And I did want to appeal that we grant this wish so that we can dispose of some of the matters that are before us, and which might relate to all of us, are relevant to all of us as we go into the elections. I also note the member from Mavoko is now leaving us with having taken our time. I wish he would stay so that we can transact business together. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and ask the Majority Whip to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I do second.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that this House orders that the business appearing as order number 10, 11, 13, and 14 in the order paper be exempted from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. Honorable Sankok.
I oppose. This one is a procedural motion, Honorable Speaker, and it aims at exempting motion sponsored by private member motions, Honorable Speaker. Yet, those that are sponsored by the majority leader or minority leader or the government have Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday. The only time that is allocated for private members is only on Wednesday morning. And currently, there is a backlog of private member-sponsored motions, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and we need to discuss what private member bills in this House, Honorable Speaker, because the government that is now currently have failed, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there is no at all any liquid available in this country. Fuel is not available, milk is not available, water is not even available. The only liquid that is available is alcohol. Honorable Speaker, so what we need now is also to have an opportunity for private members to put the government on check, because the opposition or the minority side have failed. They are in bed with the government. So who will put the government on check? It is only bills that are sponsored by private members. Otherwise, there will be nobody to fight for the common mwananchi. Nobody will talk on behalf of the hustlers. So if today the private members only have an opportunity on only a Wednesday morning, what is the majority leader and the minority leader doing with the Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday? So, Honorable Speaker, I totally oppose, and I urge all the members to oppose so that we can have private members also having their say in this House. Now that the government and the opposition are in bed, we can have other alternative voice of the voiceless.
Honorable Fasaris.
Madam Speaker, as I sit here, I'm actually disturbed. Is the Honorable Sankok trying to tell Kenyans that the only people that actually care about their needs are in the opposition? I mean, at the end of the day, we are all elected leaders. Whether you're in opposition, whether you're independent, whether you are in government, we are all leaders. We're all representing people, including himself as a nominated MP. So all of us have the mandate to protect the citizens, and that's why our primary role is representation. So when you stand here and say that the majority leader is in bed with the opposition, no. At the end of the day, he is working for the government, and we as opposition are actually working with the government because you have failed to support the government to deliver on its mandate. So to say that the majority leader is in bed with the opposition and we have no opposition, are you trying to say that unless you're in the opposition, you're not doing anything for the government?
Honorable Pasaris, you know, what are you saying about the motion? And please address the Speaker.
That is a point of order.
No, but the thing is, I raised on a point of order because he says that it's only the opposition that actually runs the government. At the end of the day, we all do.
The work of the opposition is to put the government on check.
You're out of order. Out of order. Out of order. Members, honorable members. Order members. Order members. Order. Order members. Just to contribute to the motion, honorable members. Honorable Nyikal.
Chair, I rise to support the motion. I think there are times that we must look at the interests of the country. And in reality, the current constitution as we have it, you have parliament and you have the presidency. Actually, all members of parliament are to check the government, not one side. The assumption that if you come to a party that is the president, then you must always, that's not the case. So that is the current constitutional arrangement. And above that, the bigger picture that is happening from yesterday, Madam Speaker, is what this country needs to do, maybe after this, is actually to harmonize the calendar of the House and the calendar of IEBC. I can understand why some motions have to come, like now, to come quickly, because they are important motions, they should be done. We are at a time when the parliament is ending. So I think it's important that when such motions come, we support them. And therefore, I support this. And what I say, in the bigger picture, let's harmonize the calendar of the House and the calendar of IBC, at least in election year, so that by the time we go to party nomination, probably we are already at same-day adjournment, so that we don't have so few members contributing to very important motions. Madam Speaker, I support.
I'm sure the leader of majority is listening with the House Business Committee members, because that is a valid concern. Honorable Sophia? You have your mic, Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support the motion. And Madam Speaker, I want to
Whom do you want to inform? Honorable Whip.
I want to support.
Honorable Whip, if you want to inform, you can only inform Honorable Sophia. She's the one on the floor. And if not, Honorable Sophia, go on.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support the motion. Madam Speaker, as leaders who are elected, we must look at the times and we must look what is in the interest of this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Songkok must know the roles and responsibility of members of parliament. Members of parliament oversight all the executive, Madam Speaker. And today, my brother, Honorable Songkok, has failed terribly by saying that it is only the role of the opposition to check the government. It is our work as parliamentarians to check the government. And Madam Speaker, there are times that the country is more important than individual. What we are legislating, Madam Speaker, is the interest of every person,
Honorable Songkok, whom do you want to inform?
Yeah.
Honorable Sophia?
No, I don't need his information. I don't need his information.
Okay. Honorable Songkok,
sit down.
The member has to accept your information. If he doesn't...
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Sophia, just be brief.
Okay, Madam, I will. I want to say, there are times, Madam Speaker, our personal interest, the country is more bigger than our personal interest. And here, I've seen of late, we are double speaking, and it is not right. As a house, we must return the glory and the respect of this house, Madam Speaker, and I support. Thank you.
Honorable Pukosa?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
And please be brief. Be brief and speak to the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this motion that on the basis of the following. Madam Speaker, when it comes to, I know the private members' bills are hurting because this time is allocated for private members. But we also have very important bills that we need to dispense as a house. And therefore, I think in bringing the important bills so that we can be able to sort out for the interests of this country. It's not just for one side or whatever. Our political positions notwithstanding, we should be able to look at, because these are benefits on either side. It is the wananchi who are going to benefit. So with those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support.
the final person on this side, and then we put the question. I think Honorable Kilonzo is the one who has not spoken this morning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I need to, I support the motion and really request the House Business Committee to see that those important bills, like my Committee on Defense, we have two very important bills, Military Veteran Bill, and also we have the Regional Authorities Bill, which are at a very advanced stage, so that they can be put in the order paper. And those other private members' bills, I think members should go back and get re-elected. They can come next year. So I think as I support that, Madam Chair, I'm in total support, and I really caution Honorable Sankok to stop crying that every moment he says opposition has taken over government. What was he doing? Or what were they doing? So I support.
Order, members. Order. Honorable members, I go on to put the question, which is that this House orders that the business appearing as order numbers 10, 11, 13, and 14 in the order paper be exempted from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020. Question to be put and third reading.
Order, members. Order. I will go on to put the question, and then we go to third reading. That this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I go on to call the mover to move the third reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the mover, Honorable Martin Owino, I beg to move that the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020, be now read a third time. Madam Speaker, let me start by first of all congratulating Honorable Owino for bringing this in and members for actually supporting this. Madam Speaker, this is actually historical. It's going to be a historical bill because for once we are going to establish the community health worker, a legal entity, a legal part of the workforce in the health sector. Madam Speaker, community health workers in reality have existed from time immemorial. Communities have always had people amongst them who support those who need health care. But in the current circumstances, we have the community health workers, we have a policy in place, we have structures in place without the legal structure that is required to support them. And this is what this bill is going to do. It's also historical, Madam Speaker, that the first Kenyan to actually bring the issue of the community health workers into the health sector, Professor Miriam Were, is now actually a Nobel Prize nominee, basically on the basis of this work. So it's an extremely important bill, and I'm happy that members supported the second reading, and therefore I bring it for the third reading and call upon Honorable Kutuny to support the third reading.
Honorable Kutuny, he is seconding you. You move. You just moved.
I move and I ask Honorable Kutuny to second.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, thank you. As I second, I want to appreciate our able member of the committee, Owino. I also want to thank the members of the committee for rising to the occasion, Madam Chair. to ensure that most of the bills that comes to the committee, they have been dealt with. This is one of the very fundamental bill that touches on the key actors in the health sector. Community health workers play important role in a health service delivery. They are the most effective health actors that influence hygienic and behavioral change. While supervision and support from most of their stakeholders, including government, has been there and it has been robust, but enough resources has not been provided to community health workers. Most of them, they've been doing voluntary work and they've been surviving on stipend, which has inhibited the service delivery by the community health workers. By the establishment and enactment of this bill, Madam Chair, we are going to have a structured way where community health workers are going to operate. It must reach a point where community health workers, despite the fact that they will be staying with the community, they must be supported, either by materials or by resource. So, Madam Chair, I support. Thank you. And I second.
Order, members. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020, be now read a third time. I proceed to put the question, having confirmed that we are properly constituted. I therefore put the question, which is that the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020, be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to make provisions for the training, registration, and licensing of community health workers, to regulate the practice, to provide for the establishment, powers, and functions of the community health workers of Council of Kenya, and for connected purposes. Order number 10, the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022. Report of the Committee of the Whole House and third reading.
Chairperson, report to the House.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover? Move agreement with the report.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, and I also request Honorable Ngunyi to second the motion of agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Order. Order, members. Order, Chair Security. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I go on to put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I call on the mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, be now read a third time. And Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank the various members and the committees who have worked on this bill, and fast-tracked it to the point where we can now, as a House, say we have done what we need to do to ensure that elections in August this year will be done in accordance with the law as updated based on the court rulings that necessitated this bill to come to the House. So it's adding to the confidence in terms of the credibility of the elections for 2022. And I want to thank each of the members who are here to help in that process. And hope that, and look forward to our colleagues in the Senate fast-tracking this process so that we can have this law in place. It affects all of us, and it affects also the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, with those words, I beg to move and request the Honorable Wangwe to second.
Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as well put by the Majority Leader, I do second.
Order. Honorable members, I propose a question, which is that the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, be now read a third time. I proceed to put the question, which is that the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Elections Act. Order number 11, the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021. Report of the Committee of the Whole House and third reading.
Chairperson.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021 and approved the same with amendments.
Mover. Is it? Who is it?
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House agrees with the committee in the report, and I also request Honorable Wangwe to second the motion for the agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I do the second.
Order, members. Members, I go on to propose a question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I go on to put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I call on the mover to move third reading.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Election Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021, be read this third time. Madam Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank the members, especially committee members, and also members of the House for supporting this bill and also for fast-tracking it. And I was to request that we continue fast-tracking and make it into law so that it can be assented and also operationalized before we go to the next election. I take this opportunity to move it and now request Honorable Sangok to second.
Honorable Speaker, we thank all the members who contributed and who supported this bill. And Honorable Speaker, those who had different opinion, we have taken their consideration into their opinion into consideration. So I beg to second.
Order. Order, member for Mavoko. Honorable members, I propose a question for third reading, which is that the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021 be now read a third time. I proceed to put the question, and we have the requisite quorum, which is that the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021, be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Election Campaign Financing Act and for connected purposes.
Next.
Order number 12, the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2020. Question to be put.
Order, members. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question, which is that the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2020, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the National Construction Act and for connected purposes. Order number 13, the Huduma Bill, National Assembly Bill number 57 of 2021, second reading, resumption of debate.
I see we had some members who already spoke. Honorable Ngunjiri, Wambugu, and Honorable Nyikal. Honorable Pukose, you're speaking to this? Honorable Abel Ogutu. Honorable members, please pay attention. We are on the Huduma bill. So
Honorable.
If you don't wish to speak, just take out your card. Take out
Honorable
your name.
Speaker, I want to make a contribution to this bill. Honorable Speaker, by saying that the Huduma services were meant to harmonize and also synchronize the various data systems in this country. But to my disappointment, Honorable Speaker, we still have various institutions operating in isolation. As we discuss and will continue to review the bill, my opinion, Honorable Speaker, is that we look into a country that soon will have highly synchronized data, because ICT is quite advanced in this country, so that we don't have people to spend time moving from one office to another. And at the same time, there is a lot of disappointment, not only in the delays, but also in the confusion that is existing in the data systems. So, Honorable Speaker, in totality, I support this bill. Thank you.
Honorable Passaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sorry, Madam Speaker, I wasn't prepared for this one, but I stand to support the bill. Thank you.
You're done, Honorable Passaris? Okay, you can organize yourself if you want to speak again. Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this important bill. As a member of the committee which was discussing this bill, Honorable Speaker, the Huduma bill is a very important bill to this country. What is being proposed in that bill, Honorable Speaker, is to come up with a population database which will be able to capture information relating to our populace, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at what's been proposed, a number of clauses that talk about different things. And this bill is proposing issuance of a Huduma card, a card which will be containing some important information relating to individuals in this country. That card is supposed, Honorable Speaker, to capture information relating to what is captured in our ID numbers currently, information relating to what is captured in your NHIF card, information relating to what will be captured in your NSSF card, so that with this card, Honorable Speaker, once you get this card, then you'll be able to use this card to access almost all services, including NHIF, NTSA, and all that other important information, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, if you look at countries which have this kind of cards, which have been managed properly, the cards have actually added value in terms of service provision. And that's why you see, Honorable Speaker, our Huduma card is, as proposed, is a very good card. And what we have been saying as a committee, Honorable Speaker, is that I think we need to do a bit of what I call awareness creation. We need to create more information to Kenyans in terms of what this card is supposed to do, because I see a lot of doubts. Anytime we have interacted with the stakeholders, Honorable Speaker, a number of doubts have been raised. Honorable Speaker, there are those who feel that by introducing this card, there could be some discrimination. For example, in this country, we have refugees who come to this country, and the question is, even as we propose to issue a refugee card, Honorable Speaker, the question is then, how accessible will this card to those who are non-Kenyans? The other important question, Honorable Speaker, is there are some departments, like immigration, which strongly believe that the way the bill is structured currently is likely to be doing away with such an important department. And these are some of the challenges we have to go through, Honorable Speaker. And I think even as we move forward with this bill, both at the second reading and the third reading, Honorable Speaker, that some of these issues which we think are contagious will be addressed. But the way the bill is proposed, Honorable Speaker, it will be very good for this country who are to get this card. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, is there is a question of whether this card will only contain data related to an individual or it will be used for other purposes. And I think accessibility of this card, once we have it, in terms of where the data is, a central depository of the data, to what extent will other departments be able to access it? And the question is, for example, since all my information will be there as an individual, if only NHIF requires my information, should they be able to access all the information just as much as KRA will be able to access the information? Because I'm imagining NHIF will require some specific information relating to me as opposed to what KRA will be expecting from me. And I think this division is very important, Honorable Speaker, because information to do with an individual is very important. And there must be also security of that information so that we don't get information of individuals being accessed by every Tom and Dick. I think there must be levels where this card should ensure that there are levels where people will not be able to access information which is important for their use. Whatever is not important for their use to do with individual information, Honorable Speaker, then that information, Honorable Speaker, should not be accessible to such institutions. The other issue which has been raised there is the issue of our children. There's a proposal that when a child gets to age 6, they also get this Huduma card. And you know, at that age, Honorable Speaker, we will consider that together with our constitution. It is very clear, unless you hit the age of 18, then you may not be able to make decisions because you are categorized as a child. So the question is, in a situation where my child has a Huduma card, is it possible that the child will be able to walk to our office and be assisted using that card, and the guardian is not part of that whole process? Because the reason why when you're under 18 you need a guardian is because you are not assessed to be able to make independent decisions. So to me, these are other important things we must be able to discuss. And there was also an option, a proposal where, Honorable Speaker, when you get this card, immediately you hit 18 years, then you get registered with the KRA as a taxpayer. And to me, these are important issues because the thing is, the fact that I've hit 18 years
Does it mean that automatically I should start declaring my taxes even when I'm not working? Because that's the implication. So these are some of the important issues in this bill which should be considered. But all said and done, Honorable Speaker, it is a very important bill. It's going to streamline the way we manage our population data. And Honorable Speaker, if you have heard of the agro-leasing, what was intended to be done by agro-leasing that time, so that we have what we call integrated population management system or data, is actually what Huduma is trying to do. But I think in terms of the way it was brought to Kenyans, what I would call the way the Kenyans have been introduced to this, I think that it has not been done properly, so there has been misgiving. People think it will be misused for other purposes. And you know, Honorable Speaker, this country, people are very, very careful when it comes to information, more so the way individuals manage information. And this idea of people threatened with the income tax demands, even when you don't know KRA anything, I think this is the thing which are worrying Kenyans. So as we debate this important bill, Honorable Speaker, there must also be a very clear strategy now to create awareness to Kenyans, so that those fears which Kenyans have as a result of this bill are also done away with. And those departments which are fears that they might be done away as a result of this bill also are assured that even as we have this bill in place, when it becomes an act of parliament, Honorable Speaker, that the department is still operating the way they have been operating. It's only that there could be a kind of administrative change in terms of structure, because the bill is proposing what they're calling a director general in terms of management of this data. And then the head of immigration, the head of National Registration Bureau, the head of civil registration will now be working under this director general. And I think that was also causing a bit of issues, asking, if I had immigration as a director general, then you get another director above me. Does it then mean that we are going to have a conflict? But I think the PS did assure the committee that just the same way things are working now, because all these directors, Director Immigration, Director Civil Registration, Director National Registration Bureau, they all report to the PS. So the bill is proposing, instead of them now reporting to the PS, they will be reporting to a Director General who is above them, and then the Director General will be reporting to the PS. The other issue which was coming up, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of the PS having a lot of powers when it comes to the way this bill will be handled. And this is an issue which was raised, and we did raise it with also the PS, Indirio, Mr. Kibicho, and we were saying, even as we deal with this bill, Honorable Speaker, we know when power is centered on an individual, and so much power, it could also be a problem. And this becomes a problem when you have an individual who might want to misuse that power. So we are saying these are contentious issues. But since we are doing the second reading, we'll be raising them. When it comes to that reading, Honorable Speaker, then there might be issues where we might need to change one or two things. But I'm sure those who have looked at the committee report, a number of these issues were, even the stakeholders, those who are in human rights, there were issues being raised to do with human rights. They were addressed, and they are documented in terms of what their fears are. So, Honorable Speaker, I think as we debate this important bill, it is important that also those issues which are not clear then are clarified by both the committee and those other stakeholders, so that we have a law which will serve all Kenyans and serve Kenyans without some feeling that they are being discriminated. And to me, that is very important, Honorable Speaker. So with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to support this important bill, the Huduma bill. Thank you.
Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this important bill, which seeks to provide primary law on civil registration and legal identity management by establishing the National Integrated Identity Management System, NIMS, and provide for the enrollment into the system, assigning of the Huduma number, and the issuance of legal identity documents. Madam Speaker, when you look at this bill, among its objectives, which I've looked at it, being to consolidate the law on civil registration and legal identity management, establish a digital national population database to be a primary source of foundational and functional data for a resident individual, provide mechanisms for registration of births, deaths, and recognition of fetal events of a resident, facilitate the assigning of the Huduma number and issuance of legal identity documents, and to promote integrity, confidentiality, and security of personal data under the NIMS database. This bill, Madam Speaker, seeks to, it has a lot of things that it seeks to do, because you know we have the registration of births and others. And therefore, you'll find that this bill seeks to redeploy public officers who have served in these entities, such as the National Registration Bureau, the Civil Registration Services, the Department of Immigration, and the Integrated Population Registration Services to carry out the functions of their respective office within the NIMS. And Madam Speaker, apparently the Huduma number was rolled before this law. And that seeks us to ask ourselves as members of parliament that even as a country, because it came with a lot of suspicions. We even had the president going to launch the Huduma number, but it was done in a very haphazard way. And I'm sure that Kenyans must be asking ourselves whether we lost some money in the process. And I think at the end of the day, once this law is established, I think we need to look back and say, and what happened to the Huduma numbers that people are supposed to have gotten. And when we are doing this program, when you look at it, is a very nice program because it brings everything into the Huduma, and any services within the public service you can be able to access. But you ask yourself, I think when we are in the committee of the whole house, what happens to somebody in the private sector? Because we are talking of those in the public services within the public service. So what happens with services within the private sector? We should also be able to cater for that. Therefore, this bill, Madam Speaker, as it is being rolled down, to me, I see it, that it's going to be the Huduma number is going to be to replace the national identity cards. If it is going to replace the national identity cards, then we should be able to roll down this, because there are many people who have not gotten the Huduma numbers. It should be able to be rolled down all to the villages in a way that it is a continuous process. People continue getting Huduma number, because when this Huduma number came in and it was rolled in a haphazard way, people are given timelines, which I think it was wrong. And up to now, even some of us, we don't know where our Huduma cards are, because we registered in Parliament here. They have not been brought back here, because you'll find that when you look for your Huduma card, it is been sent to somewhere else. You go to within your village, you ask for your Huduma card, nobody knows where it is. So I think it is very important that when we are going through this law, we should be able to amend in such a way that the rollout that had been done in a hazard way, it should be able to have a complementary way of how we can be able to do it, the process to be continuous, because when you look at even the law itself, it is saying there will be Huduma cards for those who are 6 years and below. There will be Huduma cards for those who are 18 years and above, 6 years and above. Those who are 18 years and above. For foreigners, Huduma cards. We'll also have Huduma cards for refugees. So you have 4 classes of Huduma cards. But this has to be done in a proper way. It has to be a continuous process. It has to be accessible and to all Kenyans, so that at the end of the day, everybody must feel not excluded. Madam Speaker, this law also it gives the permanent secretary unfettered powers to access to be able to even deny somebody the card or to take you out of the database. That is, I think it is, those powers must be checked. We also, when you look at the bill again, the bill talks of there should be no disposal of anybody. Somebody dies and you find that these bodies can be disposed. they should be notified to the authorities so that the cause of death is established and it is documented. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is a very good bill. It doesn't need to be rushed. It needs a lot of look into it by the committee and the members so that we can have something that is for posterity, something that is credible for all Kenyans. I support.
The Chair Security is very excited with your support for the bill. Honorable Passaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When we come to the Huduma bill, Madam Speaker, I think we, as a citizen myself, I did go and register. I did try and follow up quite a number of times, including with the CEO, and I've still not been able to get my card. So when I think of the system and the structures, I feel that Huduma number still has a lot of work to do in sensitizing members, because if I myself as a member of parliament registered to get a Huduma card, trying to beat the deadline, and up to today I've not been told where my card is, where to collect it, then there are quite a number of citizens out there who have no idea where their cards are. And when it comes to the intent of the government in terms of getting a social card for all of us, there is still not enough information out there on what exactly will this card do and provide. Will it synchronize all the cards? It's still not 100% clear. I believe the government has a good intent in trying to make sure that we have one card as opposed to many cards in our wallets, like it is in the US. So your medical card, your identity card, maybe your driving card, and also such a social card, if well invested, could also enable us to reduce road carnage in a country. Because when you have a social card and you've got a criminal offense and it's registered on the card in terms of traffic offenses, etc., then the government is in a position to make sure that we rid ourselves of drivers that should not be on our roads. And we also are able to understand what, at what stage. If you lose your ID, like for instance, in Nairobi, we have so many fires. When you have a fire, you lose your identity card. When you lose your identity card, you lose your driving license. To capture all that detail becomes very difficult. A lot of people actually find it very difficult. They have no documentation to go and get their documents replaced, from birth certificate to driving license to academic results to properties that you own. So having a social card that captures everything about a person is a good thing. Of course, there is also the concern that this data can be misused if not well protected. So the systems that government will put in place to make sure that there's no fraud or there's no ability to hack into the systems are very important. And we've seen systems, including very, very strong systems in governments that are strong, like in the US, also being hacked. But as a country, I believe that it is the right time for us to manage our person's data and the persons to also have access to information about themselves on a card. So I support the various amendments. Thank you.
The Honorable Kaunya Oku, Member Tesonot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of the Committee of Administration and National Security, and that I'm part of this report on the Huduma bill. And Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to provide a centralized data national database where we can draw, and every department can draw from, especially that for a long time we have had a decentralized kind of database. All the departments are different sources of information, and sometimes it has been difficult to control, especially information that is related to births, that is related to citizenship, and especially in the border areas.
there has, of course, been systems for ensuring that only Kenyan citizens, Mr. Speaker, get registered. But a number of times there have been challenges, and these are the gaps the bill seeks to cover. There have been challenges in the border areas, for example, where foreign nationals cross to Kenya and get registered in Kenya, get Kenyan identification documents, whether it's birth certificates or ID cards and the like. So the gap that this law seeks to fill is to ensure that we have one data base from which all the departments and institutions can be able to verify whatever information they require about the Kenyan nationals who are registered. Mr. Speaker, the bill overall has a very good purpose. There are, of course, a few areas that need to be looked at in terms of amendments. That, for example, when it comes to data, when it comes to service delivery, particularly in terms of the departments, there's the aspect of looking at a department like migration as a department that provides services both to Kenyan nationals and foreign nationals. Foreign nationals seek, for example, visas when they come to Kenya. And the bill specifically deals with the national data bank. It will be important to ensure that this department and other departments that more or less have security data related issues like the issue of passports and visas are put in such a manner that they are able to benefit from this data, but not necessarily amalgamated within. There should be clarity on that area. So some amendments the committee and of course the members will bring up will have to address such areas as the service departments. Also, there's the area of registration of these other foreigners, for example, which will need to be brought out very clearly because when we are dealing with our national citizens, we should also clearly see how do we work on the data of foreign nationals. For example, Mr. Speaker, when we are dealing with the refugee bill, you will recall, Mr. Speaker, that in a place like Garissa, where we had the Dadaab refugee camp, there was double registration. There were Kenyans who were registered as refugees. There were also, of course, the refugees themselves, the genuine refugees, and they were for various reasons. So we must then find a way of ensuring that the data of foreign nationals or Kenyans who are illegally registered as foreign nationals, we have that clarity. So we are hoping that this particular bill will be able to help us make that clarity so that even where we receive refugees, we do not have a case where a Kenyan will come up to be registered as a refugee, because already in the national data bank, he would have been registered from the very beginning, and it will be picked. And the system then should be able to detect this is a Kenyan and cannot be registered as a refugee. Likewise, a foreign national crossing into Kenya and seeking to be identified as a Kenyan should be picked, and I think on a computer basis, should be detected before they register. And that will really help us manage our own data. Mr. Speaker, I want to say I'll support with the amendments that will be introduced. This bill will be a very important bill for this country. We've not had it before. I support.
The Honorable Garane Ire, member for Lagdera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I want to oppose this bill. Mr. Speaker, as much as this bill suggests, extensive amendments to the Registration of Persons Act, but again, there are inherent dangers and risks, in this bill. The first risk, Mr. Speaker, is the risk of exclusion. Mr. Speaker, the draft bill does not sufficiently address concerns of exclusion repeatedly, raised by the civil society and the public. Mr. Speaker, there are thousands of, Kenyans who have no, births and, certificates, who do not have IDs, and you see, there's no clear indication of how these people, because this Huduma, card, initially you have to have either your ID or the birth certificate. Those Kenyans who do not have those documents have the risk of being excluded. Mr. Speaker, there are thousands of Kenyans, who are doing manual labors, who, when you take them to the biometric, they cannot be captured, using the biometric. This bill does not say how those people will be captured. Street families, street children, all these are Kenyans who have the risk of being excluded in this Huduma thing. Mr. Speaker, using the Huduma will be the basis of accessing services, including health services, including banking services, including educational services, and all these things. Mr. Speaker, if people do not have these Huduma cards, there's no framework in this bill. There's no ways of having these people access that services. Imagine you are a sick person, you don't have a Huduma number, Huduma card, you are sick, you want to access health services, you cannot do that. There's no way to address this. And that is an inherent flaw, is an inherent gap, and this thing must be addressed, Mr. Speaker, before it becomes law. Mr. Speaker, because you see, this thing was supposed to be done, in a systematic manner. Looking at the Huduma, bill, it's like it's been done from backwards. We just organized a mass registration across the country without even, first of all, seeing which Kenyans, or the Kenyans that, how many people do not have birth certificates, how many do not have ID cards, how many do not have the necessary documentation for you to get a Huduma card. So it's like they have started from the top instead of doing it from the bottom, ensuring that, and that's why we are calling for these things before it's effected, it must have a transition period, at least minimum 3 to 5 years of transition, so that all these issues, all these gaps can be addressed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, because this thing was already done, there was no sufficient public participation. We really needed to have enough public participation, Kenyans in remote areas, in areas as far-flung as, the border areas, so that we ensure that people understand what this Huduma thing is all about. Mr. Speaker, you remember the High Court order of, I think, 2020. And, it clearly said all these gaps must be addressed. And I think those gaps have not been addressed. This Huduma bill is just going on. And, laws are made for posterity. We do not want to have, after this bill becomes law, that there are thousands or millions of Kenyans out there, who have the risk of exclusion, who have the risk of access, who Mr. Speaker, will have many issues. And I think what this needs to be done is that this bill needs to be withdrawn for its entirety from Parliament. We go back to the drawing board, take these inherent risks, because you see, denying one Kenyan a right of access, or denying one Kenyan to be included, it's like denying the whole world, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker, because the right of one individual is very, 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 very important. I think we really need to address these issues before this becomes law. Of course, I know it will come to the committee of the whole House, where we have the opportunity to make amendments to this bill. I will propose many amendments, regarding this bill. But, Mr. Speaker, I think I've read this bill, I've gone through it. Those are the inherent gaps and inherent risks that must be addressed before it becomes law. And therefore, I oppose it. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, just relax. The honorable here has got his right to oppose, and he has rightly done so. There's nothing out of order. The Honorable Lesankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And from the onset, I support this bill. And I want to welcome my colleague and fellow pastoralist, Honorable Hiram, to know that and to assist us in supporting this bill. Because our pastoralists for a long time have been marginalized and sometimes referred to as shifters in their own country. This bill will sort out those issues because once we have this central registration in place, I will like to request my colleague that please soften your heart and we bring amendment in the third reading that may be of disadvantage to our region, but support this bill because it will cure a lot of historical injustices within our regions as pastoralists. Honorable Speaker, because when we have this Huduma card, and currently I only know 2 people who have gotten their Huduma card, 3 of course, Uhuru Kenyatta, Margaret Kenyatta, and also my majority whip, that is Wangwe, also have the card. Honorable Speaker, personally, I have not yet gotten the card, and I wish I will card.
I also have mine, and my constituents have theirs.
Oh, you also have yours?
Yes.
Now you are 4 of you. Oh, okay. So they are complaining most of them have. I don't know why I did not then get mine. So I request the honorable members to assist me in getting mine. Honorable Speaker, and protect me from June Njomo. You should know that I'm a man who cannot be intimidated by some side shows and for professional heckling. I can handle them, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this one, we really assist us because once you have this card, the issue of forgery is out. You know, at the moment, you can forge a birth certificate. You can even forge a national identity card, even of somebody else, because you can scan and forge it, Honorable Speaker. But, Honorable Speaker, when you have the Huduma number, it have a code that can easily be scanned to check authenticity of that particular card. So the issue of forgery, first of all, is out. Honorable Speaker, if you see my wallet here, you may think that I have a lot of money. Honorable Speaker, I don't have. It's only cards. There are so many several cards that are here. My driving license is here. My national identity card is here. My health insurance card is here. And so many that I will not tell you for the benefit of my own security. Honorable Speaker, and if this Huduma can reduce them into one card, then it will be easier for us to travel with it and easier for us to access services, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this Huduma card is synonymous with Huduma centers, in which you are applying identity card somewhere else, you apply for birth registration somewhere else, you apply for others, driving license somewhere else, certificate of good conduct somewhere else. So for you to be able to get 10 documents, you have to travel to 10 different centers. But because of Huduma Center, we now have one center and one-stop shop that you can get all these cards that we require, Honorable Speaker. The same with this Huduma card. It will be only one card that you have that will serve all these other cards. Honorable Speaker, the world is moving towards the digital environment. You don't have to carry all these things on all these cards and all these certificates. If you have, Honorable Speaker, a birth certificate, it should just be in that card, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it will also reduce the issue of crimes, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, you break a only break that rule, traffic rule, but you also broke it in Mombasa. So at least there will be a central system in which we can easily access all the information about an individual, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I've heard that some people are complaining that some departments in the ministries will be done away with. And if that is true, so be it. At the moment, our wage bill is at the rooftops. We are even planning to reduce the wage bill. So if this Huduma bill will be able to do away with some departments and some people earning salaries, Honorable Speaker, then it will have assisted us in reducing our wage bill, which we are even struggling with, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I only need that members, when we come to the committee of the whole House, and even the third reading, we make sure that issues of human rights, in terms of confidentiality of this information, is totally guided, and that there will be enough check and balances to make sure that our information that we will give voluntarily to the government are safeguarded for the interests of each one of us and for the interests of the security of the country. Honorable Speaker, because if this information is accessed outside, it can be used as a digital weapon to cripple our economy. We know what happened with those people who can have crime. What do you call? There is those wash kind of characters. We have had them withdrawing money from your account without your knowledge. They even have a way of conning you through the digital platform. So if we can be able to make sure that this information are truly guarded properly and put in proper safe so that we don't have such issues. So that is the only thing that we have to come and check and make sure that we have safeguard on this information. Enough safeguards. Honorable Speaker, it is also true that children under the age of 6 will be having Huduma number and so on, because I have seen this bill. Let us also check so that it does not contravene our constitution. I think those are the only places that I had some doubt, but for me, I really urge the members of this House that let us support. This is a very important move. This is a very important card, and we cannot be living as an island, as a country. The whole world, if you go to America, Honorable Speaker, they only have one card. Honorable Speaker, every system is digitalized to an extent that your health insurance, you know what it is. You can even use your card to do all your shopping and to be able to access almost all the services in America. And I think we are going towards that direction, Honorable Speaker, so that even investors can have confidence in coming to this country. If you tell an investor that if you invest in this country, you have to have this card, you have to have this card, and from where they come from, they only probably have one card, just like this Huduma card, Honorable Speaker, then we will be doing the service to our country. Honorable Speaker, lastly, I want to congratulate the majority leader, who is the mover of this bill, for bringing this bill. And also, I know it is the work of the Committee of Interior, is it Interior or Administration, led by Honorable Muathi, who I know is a very competent chairperson. When we were being de-whipped and they were checking for chairperson to give position, I think they did the right thing to give Honorable Muathi because he is very competent. He was once my chairman in the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare, and is well recognized, and is a man of means, and a man who is also called Muturi wa Muthegi. Muturi wa Muthegi mean he is given that leadership rungu by the Kikuyu elders. So, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Honorable Mwirigi Paul, member for Igembe South.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I rise to support this Huduma bill. This Huduma bill, Mr. Speaker, has come at the right time. Mr. Speaker, whenever you go shopping or whenever you go to seek health assistance, Mr. Speaker, you are supposed to carry many documents, Mr. Speaker, in order for you to get these services, Mr. Speaker. But through this Huduma, Mr. Speaker, it will help you to have just one card, Mr. Speaker, which you can use to access all the services you need, or all services are needed, Mr. Speaker. Whereas, or if you want to access your bank account, Mr. Speaker, or you want to withdraw some cash, Mr. Speaker, you can use this card. When you want to access health service, Mr. Speaker, you can use this card, Mr. Speaker. When you want, Mr. Speaker, or when you are driving, Mr. Speaker, you can use your card as a driving license, since you can subscribe with it any service, Mr. Speaker. So it is a good bill, Mr. Speaker, which all of us, Mr. Speaker, are supposed to support, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can reduce, Mr. Speaker, the crimes. Since when you have this one card, Mr. Speaker, it identifies you from your origin, the way you are brought up, Mr. Speaker, the crimes, if there is any crime you have committed, Mr. Speaker, when this card is used by the security officers, Mr. Speaker, it can identify, Mr. Speaker, what you have gone through. So, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the service, Mr. Speaker, which will help our citizens, Mr. Speaker, to live well and even to conduct their businesses well, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also, this service will help us to identify, especially, or it will help us, it will help the farmers, Mr. Speaker, to get their services. For example, when the government have some subsidies in some commodities, Mr. Speaker, which are funded by the government, and they are brought towards the farmers, Mr. Speaker, this Huduma service, Mr. Speaker, will help the government to identify the certain community or the certain farmers, Mr. Speaker, with the crop or with the activity they do, so that it eases the bulkiness of filling some or many documents, Mr. Speaker. And with this Huduma number also will help, Mr. Speaker, to get the services in ease, Mr. Speaker. So with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, for bringing it up in this House. And I urge all the members, Mr. Speaker, to support this bill so that we can ease the living of the Kenyan citizens. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Koi Waluke, member for Sirisia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute on this Huduma bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the bill because it is going to make a lot of differences, difference in this country, Mr. Speaker, in terms of security, in terms of accountability, and very many other things, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have been having so many challenges
in this country, Mr. Speaker, sometimes because of foreigners. I think in Africa, Mr. Speaker, it is only in Kenya where people just walk in and out without caution, because we have been in different countries all over the world, Mr. Speaker. Security is paramount everywhere. Mr. Speaker, Kenya, you can come in without a visa, and you'll get a visa at the airport. Not like in other countries, Mr. Speaker, where you will look for a visa for months and months, many months before you get a visa, Mr. Speaker. Even us, members of parliament, sometimes to get a visa to go to a country, a foreign country, Mr. Speaker, is very difficult. So Huduma number, Mr. Speaker, as I speak, it will make a very big change, Mr. Speaker. Like many of us have talked about birth registration, Mr. Speaker, getting a passport. Mr. Speaker, it is not difficult to get a passport in Kenya because it is your right. But for those who come from the border, like myself, Mr. Speaker, and other borders, there are people with bad intention who are not Kenyans. Mheshimiwa here has talked about opposing this bill, Mr. Speaker, that because of birth registration, that because they don't get ID. Getting an ID, Mr. Speaker, you must prove, when you come from the border, you must prove that indeed you are a Kenyan, indeed you are born here in Kenya, but not just to be given. And it is, I think, bad intention with the pastoralists, because there's nobody who has been allowed to move with animals or everywhere. Like you move with your animals from Garissa to Machakos or to Athi River. No, because everybody he comes from somewhere. When he comes from Garissa, he has passed Mwingi, he has passed so many counties. So this thing, Mr. Speaker, should not make them feel that because they are pastoralists, that the country should see them differently from other Kenyans. They are Kenyans like us, like Honorable Sango come from Naroko here. Yeah? He can walk around maybe Bomet County around there. But it's not that all the way with animals from there to Garissa. It makes others even feel that they are being oppressed. Mr. Speaker, there's no point of order, Sangoko. The challenges that we are having, Mr. Speaker, in this country in terms of...
The Honorable Aluke, just hold on. The Honorable Sangoko, what is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, I think the Huduma card or Huduma number is supposed to be for human beings. Now he's bringing the issue of cows. Does it mean that our cows should also have Huduma number? Because if that is what it is, then I'll have to consult with Honorable Muadhi so that I withdraw my support. Because our cows can never be given Huduma number. They can move to anywhere there is water, there is pasture.
The Honorable Aluke, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, you know cows are moved by human beings. Cows cannot move alone from Garissa or camels to move from Garissa to Athi River. There must be somebody who will come with them. So, Mr. Speaker, this Huduma bill, Mr. Speaker, is very important to us here in this country, Mr. Speaker. In terms of immigration, Mr. Speaker, and borders, restrictions must continue. It must be there because we want to safeguard
our country, Mr. Speaker. Earlier on, as I've said, Mr. Speaker, people have just been taking Kenya for granted, and that is why we have been seeing all this, the Al-Shabaab thing, because people just walk free to our country. And you remember, many Kenyans have lost their lives because of that. On borders, checking is not proper. So the Huduma number will help us to be safe, because we want to live, not to be forced to die like the students of Garissa University who were forced to die without, and other people, Kenyans, who have lost their life and lost their loved ones, Mr. Speaker. The security and the security of this country, Mr. Speaker, should be properly checked. And I want to appreciate the committee for having come up with this Huduma bill, Mr. Speaker. And I urge all of us as a House to support this bill, Mr. Speaker, because it is going to save this country from many things. I support.
The Honorable Dr. Otiende, member for Rarieda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill, and there's not much to say. First, Mr. Speaker, this bill brings centralization in terms of personal information. It is the way to go. It is the way to avoid situations where one has to deal with so many other pieces of, IDs of all sorts. Indeed, if we go this way, even the idea of registration of voters in future will be made much simpler. Mr. Speaker, secondly, it brings legitimacy to the idea of citizenship. Legitimacy in the sense that part of the problem sometimes we suffer are people who sneak into this country and find their way into having, documents of identification, including passports. If we go this way, we'll be able to trace and track people from day one. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I think this will also help us with improving taxation and accountability in payment. We live in a country where some of the richest people don't pay taxes. They are able to sneak in the crevices in terms of the laws of taxation and identification. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, there are those who wanted to dissuade people from this bill by trying to link it to the elections. This bill and having the Huduma card has nothing to do with elections, rigging or otherwise. It is only those who are starting to fear the outcome of the elections that would want to tie this to the election. And lastly, I want to sympathize with my brother, Honorable Sankok. Obviously, he does not have the Huduma card. I want to tell him that I have, and my entire family has. Because when we were applying, he was tangering, and he could not settle to apply. But now, let this bill come, and he will be able to settle and get it in time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Nanga Bojanet, member for Trans Nzoia.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa nafasi hii kuchangia kwa mswada huu, Mheshimiwa Spika, wa kukua na Huduma card. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niseme kwamba ninamshukuru mwenyekiti wa chama, mwenyekiti wa security katika bunge hili ama usalama, Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka nimshukuru kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, na ni ukweli wenzangu vile wamechangia Mheshimiwa Spika, imekuwa vigumu sana. Hata leo asubuhi Mheshimiwa Spika, nimepigiwa na mtoto wangu kutoka Australia kwamba anataka cheti cha kusaliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na unaona kwamba tungelikuwa na kati kama hii, Mheshimiwa Spika, mtoto hangelipika simu na kusema kwamba anataka kati ya kusaliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu tukiwa na kadi hii itakuwa inabeba kila kitu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na hata mimi naona hiyo kadi mwishowe itakuja kusaidia watoto wetu iwapo wamefika kilato fulani. Mtu atajua kwamba huyu mtoto amesoma kutoka kwa kilato hiki na amefika hapa, ameenda kutoka kwa shule ya msingi na ameenda pia kwa shule ya upili, Mheshimiwa Spika, na hata chuo kikuu. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niseme hii ni jambo la maana sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Unaona hapa awali Mheshimiwa Spika, hata sisi wengine tukiwa wafanyakazi katika maidara zenye tulikuwa tukifanya Mheshimiwa Spika, ukitaka kulipwa mshahara Mheshimiwa Spika, ilikuwa ni kwamba wanaleta payroll Mheshimiwa Spika. Wakienda hapo wakitumia kalamu kuangalia jina lako Mheshimiwa Spika. Hivi leo unaweza kuona Mheshimiwa Spika mahali penye tumefika, tuko na bank zetu zenye wanaweza kuweka hizo pesa Mheshimiwa Spika. Na iwapo tutakuwa na hiyo huduma kati Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwa inarahisisha kila kitu, na hiyo pia sisi tutakuwa kama nchi zingine. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Waluke amesema kwamba wale watu wenye tuko kwa mipaka zetu, na mimi nataka niseme hiyo ni ukweli Mheshimiwa Spika. Ukikuja mahali panaitwa Swam kule Trans Nzoia, kwa sababu kuna ndugu zetu wale wanatoka kwa nchi ya Uganda Mheshimiwa Spika, hata wakati huu tunapopiga kura wenzetu wanaenda mpaka kwa nchi za ng'ambo kuangalia wapigaji kura wakuje katika nchi yetu ya Kenya Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka niseme kwamba tukikuwa na hiyo huduma kadi ya kusema kwamba huyu ni ndugu yetu ama ni jirani yetu na anakaa upande huu, itatuwezesha sisi Mheshimiwa Spika kupata viongozi sahihi, wale wanaweza kusaidia nchi hii na wale wanaweza kusaidia watu wetu wale tuko mpakani Mheshimiwa Spika. Itakuwa ni rahisi mno, hata wakisema huko penye Mheshimiwa Songoko anatoka. Mheshimiwa Spika, hao ni watu wenye walikuwa na utamaduni wao, na iwapo hiyo utamaduni pia Mheshimiwa Spika, hawa pia wakiuza bidhaa zao, kwa sababu hawa ni wanabiashara Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi huona watu kutoka nchi za ng'ambo wanakuja mpaka huko Masaini, wanakuja ni kwa sababu ya kufanya biashara na hao. Na iwapo mtu ako na hiyo kadi yake Mheshimiwa Spika, inakuwa ni rahisi sana kujua kwamba huyu mtu anatoka wapi na huyu mtu anafanya nini. Mheshimiwa Spika, tena nataka nimshukuru mwenyekiti wa usalama katika bunge hili, na nikushukuru wewe mwenyewe Mheshimiwa Spika, na ninakutakia heri na fanaka hata wakati tunapotafuta kura zetu. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, the Honorable Janet Nangabot. Appreciated. The goodwill is appreciated. It is necessary, and it is at the right time. Thank you so much. The Honorable Sotsi Godfrey, member nominated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also say something on this bill. Mr. Speaker, I have quite a lot to say about this, but I want to summarize it in 2 minutes. This bill is long overdue. Mr. Speaker, if implemented, this bill is going to ensure interoperability of the foundation systems and the functional systems in government. Foundation systems are basically general registration system for identity card, birth certificate, death certificate, and even refugee registration. And the functional systems are basically for specific services like immigration, passport, and all that. So it is going to ensure linkage of these systems, which is going to make it very easy for government not to have duplication of data. We have seen so many cases of duplication of IDs and even birth certificate. This will be a thing of the past. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, that this system is going to promote digital economy because we will be able to save a lot as a country. You know, we are spending too much money on elections, for example. Elections in Kenya is one of the most expensive elections in the world. With this system in place, we will not keep on recreating voter registers. And possibly it will be very easy now to ensure our elections are 100% digital. So it is a system that is long overdue, and I fully support it. But I have reservations, Mr. Speaker, on how the risks around the systems are going to be managed, particularly the people who are in control of this system, Mr. Speaker. This is an issue that we need to look at as a country because even the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act remains largely unimplemented. Even the Data Protection Act remains largely unimplemented because, as I've always said when I was making my presentation for my bill, which I'm sponsoring, the ICT Practitioners Bill, a lot of efforts and priority needs to be put on issues of ethics around the profession. Because if we don't address that issue, we'll be creating systems that are going to expose this country and can even lead to state capture. So I urge this House to expedite the processing of the ICT practitioners bill into law so that now we prepare the ground for a proper digital economy and we have it easy to have these systems passed. For those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Kiai Githiaka, member from Mkuruweni.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the bill. Mr. Speaker, the bill intends to make it easier and bring together all the documentations that relate to citizens of this country and non-citizens. As it has already been said, we already have the foundational and functional systems, and both of them are not connected. The foundational ones are like the general identification documents like the national ID, the birth certificate, and the other one, the functional one, is like the passports, the health cards, and what have you. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure in your wallet you have more cards, perhaps much more than the cash that you have. And this is what we want to collapse all these documents into one document that is called Huduma number. Mr. Speaker, it will streamline the legitimacy of citizenship. It will make sure that we know who was born here, who has a refugee card, who has what document. If you look at Section 7 of this Act, it talks of different kind of Huduma number, Huduma cards. That is the minors, the adults, the foreign nationals, the refugees. Mr. Speaker, the enrollment into the NIM system, that is the system that is going to operate this Huduma, is going to take place at birth. Once you are born into this country, then we are able to tell who was born where, who is operating from where, and it brings into mind the 1984 George Orwell's Big Brother novel, whereby wherever you go, the Big Brother is watching. It will also make the issue of security very easy, because you will be able to categorize who are the citizens, who are the foreigners, who are the refugees. Also, on top of that, Mr. Speaker, it will also streamline the voter registration in this country. We do not have every other 5 years, we have a voter registration taking place. Once you are registered at the majority age of 18, then it means that you don't have to register for voter registration. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a very good bill.
Just hold on, member from Mkuruweni. Then my friend Kiai, just hold on. The Honorable Jude, what is out of order? Member for Kiambu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand on a point of order, understanding Order 95. Judging from what has been ongoing in this House, there is general agreement that members agreed that this is a very important thing, and for the purposes of moving on, may the mover be called to reply, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jude, that is in order, but let the honorable member for Mkuruweni complete his submissions.
I appreciate his sentiments, and Mr. Speaker, I need not add any further issue, only that I wish you the very well when you are campaigning, and I wish to see you back in this August House next year, this year after August. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the Honorable K. Honorable members, is it the mood of the House that the mover be called to reply? Will as many of that opinion say aye? And as many of the current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me start by saying thank you to members for the interest they've shown in this bill. And indeed, from the contribution it's very clear that members have not only been concerned, but have gone ahead and actually read through the bill. Because I've been in this house for a long time, and it's very easy to tell when members are contributing because of social media or what they've heard the other one saying, but it's also very different when members have actually looked through the bill. And Honorable Speaker, let me also say thank you to the committee because on national security, administration and national security, because when we committed this bill to them, I was very conscious of the fact that this bill had attracted a lot of interest in terms of the various stakeholders who felt they were attached by it, and it also attracted lots of intra-fighting and interest within government by people who felt that perhaps their jobs were threatened by this bill, and the typical fears that come with any change or any proposed change. But the committee has been able to harmonize all these things, and through a series of stakeholder engagement, at least we now have brought down those temperatures, and it's thanks to the committee which managed to steer and spearhead that process. Listening to members, I hear concerns. And one of the concerns, I think the Honorable Hire, I don't know whether he's still around, did raise, was that some people will be left out of this system. And one of the things to note is that we may be looking at Huduma, the entire system, from the prism of what we know, of the ID card. But the Huduma number, the design of it is that that number will be assigned to a person at birth. So you don't need an ID to get a Huduma number. It will be your unique reference number at birth. So everyone born in Kenya will be assigned that number. So nobody needs to fear that because they don't have an ID, they will not get it. We must also remember that our Constitution of 2010 was very clear that any child under the age of 18 who is found in Kenya is deemed to be a Kenyan citizen. Any child under the age of 8 who is found in Kenya at any point in Kenya is deemed to be a Kenyan citizen and is registrable. And much as we started the initial registration with children under 6, up to 6 years, the number is actually supposed to go at birth. So nobody needs to feel threatened that with the Huduma number, they will be left out. In fact, we should all be celebrating that with the coming of the Huduma number, every Kenyan will actually be registered and will be included. And the other issue is to just know that Kenya is a signatory to the UN and above believer of the UN. And one of the, if members know, target number 16.9, and I think this matter was brought out by the chairman, of the Sustainable Development Goals, calls for all the UN member states, including our country, to, as a quote, provide legal identity for all, including birth registration, by the year 2030. Now, as we are far beyond that, and this Huduma bill, which aims at consolidating our registration systems and the numbers and everything else, will go a long way towards achieving that specific provision in our aspirational SDGs. So I want to persuade members that, A, I also heard of the issue of public participation, and at least that public participation will not be with respect to this bill. There's been extensive public participation. It's all documented. I've not seen such number of stakeholders appearing in the public participation. But the The references to public participation was in terms of the rollout of the initial Huduma number, which was also important because important lessons were learned. And some of those have informed the formulation of this law in terms of knowing where were the gaps, which means, and even the courts have also helped in terms of saying there's a gap here. So this law is perhaps the most modern in terms of addressing the shortcomings that were experienced at the rollout, which you can think of as a pilot. In terms of the challenges that have gone to court and the rulings from the court, they've all been addressed. And by the time we pass this law, then we can now ensure there's a smooth, that we have a national integrated, identity management system, which cannot be challenged and which will be an example for other countries within East Africa and other countries within the world, so that we don't have to keep bringing experts from Estonia, bringing people from, the Sweden and Finland and other places where they have this kind of thing. We hope that Kenya will now be providing experts to go around the world to actually demonstrate what an integrated identity management system is all about. So I want to really thank everyone, and I do look forward to us processing the few amendments that are proposed by the committee, and indeed, if there's any others that members would want, so that before we go home tomorrow, we can have this bill in place, and also to alleviate the fears, and I think Dr. Otiende did mention that, for those who thought that this Huduma number is about the election. There's no connection. Elections, as we are concerned, is about your identity card. And we did pass the bill yesterday, today, in third reading, which now also talks of valid Kenyan passport. That is what we need to worry about for now. In future, when that becomes the identity card, the beauty is everyone who is over 18, you can't vote unless you're 18. So there will be adequate time for people to register in subsequent issues. And if the Huduma number becomes the future ID, then that will be referenced in the voting registers and all that. But nobody needs to worry that they'll be left out. Indeed, people should be happy that everyone will be included, which is not exactly the situation now, because you only become registered when you are 18. That's when you get an ID. But with Huduma, you'll be registered at birth. And when you get to school, the education, the NEMIS, the National Education Management Information System, will be linked to that number. When you get to 18, you then, be eligible or when you get your driving license, you get that number. So it's your unique number until from birth to expiry. So we need not worry, and I want to assuage those who perhaps had fears to reread the bill and will see that there's no issue. One more worry, and I think some people did mention, is that we are doing away with the immigration department. And I just want to say that we have a Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Act, which is really number 12 of 2011, and that act has not been repealed anywhere. So there may be some reorganization of departments in terms of registration, but the functions of the Director of Immigration Services within that specific act remain intact. And hence, we don't need to worry about some of those issues that may have been circulating, that with Huduma number, the immigration department is collapsed and all that. All that is fears that were unfounded and have been addressed adequately by the committee and the subsequent amendment that will be coming here to sort out some of those issues. So, Honorable Speaker, with those remarks, once again, thanks everyone, thanks to you, Speaker, for your leadership in this matter, and our technical staff who have guided this process so far, and all of us for being part of this history making. I beg to reply.
Very well. I direct that the question that this be undertaken when the matter will be set down for consideration in the order paper, and direct that we move on to the next business on the order for the day.
Order number 14, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are now in Committee of the Whole House to consider the Coffee Bill, Senate Bill number 2022, number 22 of 2020, and we shall be resuming from clause number 46. We had partly dealt with it last week, I presume. Yes.
Clause 46.
I propose that clause 46 be part of the bill. Chair, the chair? Yes. You have an amendment to this, a proposal to amend.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the opportunity to pursue. I beg to move that clause 46, I think that's where we are.
Yes.
That clause 46 of the bill be deleted and substituted, therefore, with the following new clause as it is on the order paper. Justification, the amendment substantiality remains, the amendment substantially retains that what is contained in the clause 46 of the bill, but seeks to enrich it with the providing more on direct coffee sales on the coffee exchange. The clause deletes clause 46(1)(c), which provides for such other method as Cabinet Secretary may prescribe, whichever is clear. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 46 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 46 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 46 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 47.
I propose the question that clause 47 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore put the question that clause 47 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 48.
I propose the question that clause 48 be part of the bill, Chair.
I beg to move that clause 48, that the bill be amended by deleting clause 48 of the bill and substituting, therefore, with the following new clauses as it is on the order paper. Then the justification. The proposed amendment clarifies that the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters relating to finance will make regulations governing the operations of the exchange. Further, the proposed deletion of subclause 4 arose from comments received from stakeholders who were opposed to the direct settlement system. Lastly, the amendments seek to provide for sources of funds for the exchange. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 48 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 48 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 48 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53.
I propose the question that clauses 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 be part of the bill. There's no proposal to amend this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a current opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 54.
I propose the question that clause 54 be part of the bill. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Clause 54. I beg to move that the clause 54 of the bill is amended by A, numbering the existing provision of subclause 1, B, inserting the following subclauses immediately after subclause as it is on the order paper. Justification, clause 54 provides for prohibition against anti-competitive practice. The proposed amendment seeks to enrich the provision by defining what constitutes anti-competitive conduct and to provide that the Cabinet Secretary, for the time being responsible for matters relating to the finance, may make regulations for the implementation of the section. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 54 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 54 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 54 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 55, 56, and 57.
The Honorable Sangok?
He's interrupting. Needs to be dealt with.
Even the whole chair, when you say we should say aye or say nay, and he's the one moving, he's not even saying aye himself. I'm the only one saying aye. So
the Honorable Sangok is very useful to you, Chair. Don't fight him.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It's been good to you. Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 55, 56, and 57 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 55, 56, and 57 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 58.
I propose the question that clause 58 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and Mheshimiwa Sangok has been a problem in this issue, so I'm hoping now he's supporting. Thank you, and continue supporting. It is important that you support. This is a very important bill. Thank you, Chair. Clause 58. I beg to move that clause 58 of the bill be amended by, as it is on the order paper, justification. The proposed amendment seeks to provide for monies appropriated by the National Assembly as one of the sources of funds for the board. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 58 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 58 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 58 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 59, 60, 61, and 62.
I propose the question that clauses 59, 60, 61, and 62 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 59, 60, 61, and 62 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 63.
I propose the question that clause 63 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Clause 63. I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 63 and substituting therefore with the following new clause as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to clarify the financial year of the board. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 63 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 63 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 63 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 64, 65, and 66.
I propose the question that clauses 64, 65, and 66 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 64, 65, and 66 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 67.
I propose the question that clause 67 be part of the bill, Chair.
Please. Thank you, Chair. Clause 67. I beg to move that clause 67 of the bill be amended as it is on the order paper. Justification. Clause 67 provides for the membership of Coffee Research Institute. The proposed amendments to subclause 1F seeks to provide clarity on the nominating body. Further, the proposed amendments to subclause 3 enhances the qualification for appointment of a person as a chairperson of the board from a degree to a master's degree, which will enhance the effectiveness of the institute. Thank you, Chair.
I now propose the question that clause 67 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 67 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 67, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 68 and 69.
I propose the question that clauses 68 and 69 be part of the bill. There is no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 68 and 69 be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 70.
I propose the question that clause 70 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that clause 70 of the bill be amended in sub-clause 2 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after the paragraph E as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendments arose during consideration of clause 38(1)(d) of the bill, which provides for one of the functions of the Coffee Research Institute as to issue certified coffee seeds or seedlings for multiplication in coffee nurseries to coffee growers or for export. The proposed amendments rightly places the function in clause 70, which comprehensively provides for the function of the institute. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 70 be amended as proposed by the Chair. And now, you have something to say, the Honorable Sanko?
Yes, Honorable Chair, I support this one. And this one is very important that if you are a research institute, you should be able to produce these coffee seeds and seedling for multiplication, not only for our local market, but also for the international market. So, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Very well. The Honorable Nangabo?
Chair, I just want to concur with those amendments because they are just straightforward, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
I now put the question that clause 70 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the global question that clause 70 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 71, 72, and 73.
I propose the question that clauses 71, 72, and 73 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 71, 72, and 73 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 74.
I propose the question that clause 74 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that clause 74 of the bill be amended in subclause 3 by deleting paragraph B and substituting therefore with the following new paragraph as it is on the order paper. Justification. The clause 74(3) provides for the qualification for a person to be appointed as the Chief Executive Officer of the Coffee Research Institute. The proposed amendment enhances the education qualification from a degree to master's degree in agriculture or crop science from a university recognized in Kenya. This will in turn enhance the institute's effectiveness. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 74 be amended as proposed by the Chair. And I put the question that clause 74 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question that clause 74 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79.
I propose the question that clauses 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this, and I'll put the question that clauses 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 80.
I propose the question that clause 80 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that clause 80 of the bill be amended by as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to provide for monies appropriated by the National Assembly as one of the sources of funds for the Coffee Research Institute. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 80 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I therefore put the question that clause 80 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 80 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 81, 82, and 83.
I propose the question that clauses 81, 82, and 83 be part of the bill. And now put the question that clauses 81, 82, and 83 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 84.
I propose the question that clause 84 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that clause 84 of the bill be amended in subclause 1 by deleting paragraph A and substituting therefore with the following new paragraphs. A, a statement showing the detail of the assets and liabilities of the institute as it is on the order paper. Justification, financial statements are prepared in accordance with the international public sector accounting standards. The term balance sheet is no longer used in accounting, hence the proposed amendments. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 84 be amended as proposed by the Chair. And now put the question that clause 84 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 84 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 85.
I propose the question that clause 85 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you. Clause 85, thank you. I beg to move that the clause 85 of the bill be amended as it is on the order paper. Thank you. Justification. Financial statements are prepared in accordance with international public sector accounting standards. The term balance sheet is no longer in use in accounting, hence the proposed amendments. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 85 be amended as proposed by the Chair. And now put the question that clause 85 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 85 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91.
I propose the question that clauses 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91 be part of the bill. And now put the question that clauses 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 92.
I propose the question that clause 92 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Clause 92. I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 92 and substituting the following new clauses as it is on the order paper. Justification. In the bill, the proposed general penalty had both provided for offenses by the individual and the body corporate. Further, penalty was not punitive. The penalty was not punitive. The proposed amendment has provided for a higher penalty for deterrence and proposes to provide for offenses relating to the body corporate in a separate clause proposed in new clause 92. Thank you. 92A. Clause 92A. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 92 be amended as proposed by the Chair. The Honorable Menza. The Honorable Sankok? Yes. Yes, yes. The chair, you might have
Chair,
gone to an area that we have not yet reached.
You have said 92.
You're absolutely right, the Honorable Sankok.
So that's why
we mentioned 92A.
Yes,
but
92A.
We are dealing with 92. 92A is a new
clause, which we are not even there yet.
Which we shall deal with.
Yes. Even though I was almost leaving, but I'm very attentive, Chair.
Yes. So just deal with 92 only.
It is 92.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. It is 92, not 92A.
Not 92A.
Yes, thank you.
Very well. The Honorable Rahim, member for North Emend, you wish to say something to this?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to know the justification, the chairman increasing it from 20,000 shillings to 500,000. What is the justification of such a big increase from what is in the bill and what he is proposing, Chair?
Very well. Chair, you have...
I think I'd explained very well clearly that it will be for it to be more punitive. I think maybe you are not considering. I said in the justification of the bill, we proposed in general penalty had both provided for offenses by the individual and the body corporate. Further penalty was not punitive. I think it's very clear. It was not punitive enough. The proposed amendment has provided for a higher penalty for deterrence and proposes to provide for offenses relating to the body corporate in a separate clause proposed in the new clause 92. I think it was not punitive enough. Thank you.
I now put the question that clause 92 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the global question that clause 92 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 93.
I propose the question that clause 93 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that clause 93 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 94.
I propose the question that clause 94 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you. Clause 94, thank you. I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 94 and substituting thereafter with the following new part, as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to align the provision of Standing Order 118 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, which requires that provision on a delegate's powers be in a separate and distinct part of the bill, under the title Provisions on Delegated Powers. It further includes value addition of coffee exports and imports as one of the aspects to be provided for in the regulations. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 94 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 94 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 94 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 95.
I propose the question that clause 95 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that clause 95 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 96.
I propose the question that clause 96 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you. Clause 96. I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 96 and substituting therefore with the following new clauses, as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to provide clarity on the transfer of assets and liabilities. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 96 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 96 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 96 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 97, 98, 99, 100, and 101.
I propose the question that clauses 97, 98, 99, 100, and 101 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 97, 98, 99, 100, and 101 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 102.
I propose the question that clause 102 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you. I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 102 and substituting therefore with the following new clause as it is on the order paper. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to provide clarity on the proposed amendments, specifically under the subclause 1. 1B. Thank you.
I now propose the question that clause 102 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 102 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the global question that clause 102 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses. New clause 6A.
Chair, you will move second reading for new clause 6A.
Thank you. I beg to move for the second time that the clause A, clause 6 of the bill be amended by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph B as it is on the order paper.
Chair, let me just, in this part, yes, you will be calling for second reading.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That the new, for
Okay.
example, that the new clause 6A be now read a second time.
Okay, let me
Then
get
you
it
give,
again.
then you give your reasons for that.
Clause 6, that the new clause 6 be read a second time. 6A be read a second time.
Yes. Then you give your reasons.
Then the justification.
Yes.
So, then the justification. Sorry, let me read the justification. The new clause, sorry, I was reading actually clause 6. Let me just get it back now clearly there. The new clause 6A be read a second time, that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after clause 6. Justification is the proposed amendment 6 to ensure the board's operations cannot be hindered for lack of funds. Further, the involvement of both the cabinet secretary, for the time being, responsible for the finance, and the cabinet secretary, for the time being responsible for agriculture, provides necessary safeguards in the authorization to raise or borrow money. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 6A be now read a second time. And now put the question that new clause 6A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 6A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 17A.
Thank you, Chair. That I beg to move new clause 17A be read a second time, be now read a second time. That the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after clause 17. Justification, the proposed amendment seeks to provide for corporation secretary. The corporation secretary will enhance the board's operations. Further, the Mwongozo Code of Governance provides for it. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 17A be now read a second time. The Honorable Dawood Rahim, member North Imeni.
Sorry, Chair, I wanted to comment on the other one, but you didn't see it, so I'm
not
okay
a
with
problem.
this.
I now therefore put the question that new clause 17A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore now put the final question that new clause 17A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26A.
Mover, for second reading.
I beg to move new clause 26A, is it?
26A, yes.
To be moved the second time. I beg to move the second time new clause 26A, that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after clause 26. Be read a second time. Sorry for that. Justification. The proposed new clause 26A, 26B, 26C, and 26D and 26E seeks to provide clearly for the licensing issue by county governments, registration by the board, which was missing in the bill. Registration by the county governments, registration by the cooperative societies, which was missing in the bill. Prohibition of certain acts without a license. The proposed new clauses enrich the regulatory part of the bill. Thank you, Chair.
I propose a question that new clause 26A be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 26A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 26A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 26A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26B.
Mover, second reading. 26B.
26B. I beg to move that the I beg to move that the new clauses be read a second time, that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after the clause 26. The justification had actually combined all of it. That was A, B, C, and D. I don't know whether I should read it again.
No, yeah, okay. What you need to do is to now just say that you are moving for second reading of 26B.
Yes.
And you had provided the reason, and it's good enough.
Yeah, I'm now moving a second time for 26B. And I provided the justification earlier.
Very well.
Is that okay?
Very well. I propose the question that new clause 26B be now read a second time, and I see interest from the Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to draw the attention of the Chair where it says the board shall register warehouse men. It should be gender sensitive as well, Chair. So I don't know if the Chair will further amend to say warehouse men or woman. Chair, I stand guided. It's in 26B1. The board shall register warehouse men, coffee buyers, commercial, the first line, Chair. 26B. That's what you are moving, I believe.
Chair, you have a comment to this, the Honorable Turan?
But I'm not going to send it. Let you can support.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I agree with the Honorable Member for Imenti North that the warehouse men should not be the term to use. We have the warehouse person.
Thank you, Chair. I think I've got it, which should be warehouse person, not warehouse, not men, because it is should be open for both genders. So we should amend it. So that to cover both, Chair. So I further amend, and and that has been supported by a member.
To what? What do you want it to be?
I further amend so that it reads that the board shall register warehouse persons.
So you are moving it in an amended form?
Yes, I'll be moving it in an amended form.
Very well. I therefore now propose the question that new clause 26B be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 26B be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 26B be part of the bill. I put the question then that new clause 26B be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26C.
Chair, second reading 26C.
I beg to move clause 26C be read a second time as it is on the order paper, and justifications as I had said earlier, because all the justifications had been
very well.
Thank you.
And now propose the question that new clause 26C be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 26C be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 26C be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 26C be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26D.
Mover. Second reading.
Thank you. I beg to move clause 26D to be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. Justification as had been said earlier. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 26D be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 26D be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 26D be part of the bill. I then put the question that new clause 26D be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26E.
Mover.
Thank you. New clause 26D, I beg to move now to be read E.
Yes.
E. Is it E?
Yeah, you are now on E.
Oh, I beg to move that clause 26E now be read a second time as it is on the order paper. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 26E be now read a second time. I propose the question that new clause 26E be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 26E be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 26E be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 35A.
Mover.
Thank you. New clause 35A be now read a second time, and I beg to move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 35 and substituting therefore with the following new clause. Justification. The proposed amendment seeks to provide for the circumstance under which the license or a permit may be altered, suspended, or revoked. It further seeks to separate the aspect of surrender of license or permit to be provided for in the proposed new clause 35A. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 35A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 35A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 35A be part of the bill. I then put the question that new clause 35A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 42A.
Mover, 42A. New clause 42A, mover.
Yes, there. Right there.
Second reading.
Sorry. 42A. New clause 42A. I beg to now read new clause 42A a second time, to be read a second time, that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after the clause 42. Justification. The proposed new clauses 42A, 42B, 42C, and D seeks to provide for branding and geographical indication in relation to coffee roles of the board and the cabinet secretary on coffee development, the primary process of the coffee, and the appointment of millers. This provision enriches the bill, but were missing in the bill. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 42A be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 42A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 42A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 42A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 42B.
Mover, 42B.
I beg to move new clause 42B to be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justification I had read earlier, all the 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4D.
Very well. I propose the question that new clause 42B be now read a second time. The Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to put attention to the chairman of the committee on 42B4, where it says the farmer has entered into an agreement with an organization representing the interests of such a farmer. The board and every dealer in coffee shall respect and enable carrying out of the terms of such agreement, including remission to such an organization, pursuant to such agreement, be deductible from farmer. Chair, it is not very, very clear if this agreement will be in tandem with the coffee bill itself and whatever regulations there are. So would it be possible to even include, so long as here the farmer abides by the regulations? I said the farmer abides by the, because the board...
Chair, do you have anything to say to that?
The chair has asked me to repeat again.
I didn't get the question, what he said. Huh? That's what I was asking.
Okay,
Chair.
the Honorable Dawood, you may repeat it.
Okay, Chair, where it says the farmer has entered into an agreement with an organization representing interests of such a farmer, the board and every dealer in coffee shall respect and enable the carrying out of the terms of such an agreement. But it should be even, that agreement should be in line with the regulations in place, because a farmer can enter into any agreement where the board will be bound by that agreement, because that is an agreement which has not specified that it should be according to the regulations. So the board will be bound by that agreement, as what I can understand, unless I'm corrected. Thank you, Chair.
Chair?
I can add. Thank you, Honourable Member, for that point. But if you go through it, earlier we had also said that when you are doing an agreement, it should be in tandem with what is in the regulations and also with the board, so that we don't have people just doing agreements on their own. We had said it has to be approved by the board so that they follow procedure and it becomes a standardized way of doing things, so that we don't have new or people coming with new ideas. I think it is there in the bill. Thank you.
And now put the question that new clause 42B be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 42B be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 42B be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 42C.
Mover 42C.
Thank you. I beg to move that new clause 42 be now read, 42C be now read a second time as it is on the order paper.
I now propose the question that new clause 42C be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 42C be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 42C be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 42C be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 42D.
Mover, new 42D.
E.
D.
D.
Yes.
Thank you. I beg to move that the new clause 42E be new clause 42D be now read a second time. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 42D be now read a second time. The Honorable Dawood, you have an interest in this.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, 42D7 says the milling losses allowable under this section shall be capped at 19% of the coffee milled. Chair, 19% of coffee milled is a big amount. Can we have the justification how they came up with that 19%? Because if it's, 19% is a very huge amount. Normal industry practice would be between 5 and 10%, not more than that. But if we can get justification from the chair of the committee, then I'm willing to consider that.
The Honorable Sankok.
Chair, I support this 42D, especially when it comes to 42D2. Every coffee factory shall, by resolution of its members, in annual general annual general meeting, designate a registered miller for its parchment coffee. So at least this one will give millers, they will give farmers a leeway to choose which millers they will use, the one that give them the best services. I think that one is very nice. But when we go to what Honorable Dauna said, surely losses. You know, these millers will be taking all the profits, and they will be having profits. Why should they share their losses with farmers? Yet they cannot share their profit with farmers. If we have to share the losses, because these are milling losses, it is not planting losses, because even farmers have problem in planting losses, harvesting losses. They even have wild animals losses when they attack their farms, drought losses, but we are not sharing with the millers those losses. So I also don't need this one to be there, and if it is there, it should be not more than 5%, surely, to be fair to farmers.
Chair?
Well, it is something we also deliberated at length, and I think you need to really appreciate how the coffee process is done, because it's something we really deliberated on seriously, because the process of dealing with coffee has a very long process, and each process, there are percentages that are removed, and that's why we zeroed in on that. It was not something we came into ourselves. We also visited some of the cooperatives, and it was arrived to that. I think it is also good to really appreciate what is done for it to arrive at that. And I think as a committee, we really deliberated so much on that area. But I think we can still do consultations, but I believe we did a good job on that part. Thank you.
Honorable members, allow me then to propose the question, to put the question that new clause 42D be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 42D be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 42D be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 54A.
Mover, 54A. Mover, as you are moving, you can give the justification as we've been doing for all the sections, but we will be calling them one at a time.
Okay.
And then you can indicate that you've already given your justification.
So I don't, okay, so I just do it,
You
so that I do it
give
in
all
every
the justification
section.
for all of them, but we shall be moving one by one.
Okay.
Then you can say, as you have already given the justification.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I beg to move the new clause 54 to be read, that be 54A, that the bill be amended and inserted the following clauses immediately after clause 54 be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justification is that the proposed new clauses 54A, 54B, 54C, and D provide for matters that have not been provided for in the bill. Clause 54A seeks to provide for the procedure and appeals on classification of coffee, the role of the Cabinet Secretary and the board in the promotion of coffee, prohibition from coffee millers and marketing agents for lending to farmers on interest, and safeguards on loans against growers' assets. Thank you, Chair.
I propose a question that new clause 54A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 54A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 54A be part of the bill. I then put the question that new clause 54A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 54B.
Mover, 54B.
Thank you. I beg to move new clause 54B be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justification as is that I had actually read earlier, but
Very well. I propose a question that new clause 54B be now read a second time. Honorable Sango.
This one is I support, and it is very important, especially when it comes to 54B3. The county government in the coffee growing areas may, separately or in unison with the board, support coffee growers, participate in local and international coffee promotion and marketing events. This one will empower our farmers to be able even to search for markets outside and to be able to know what is happening internationally so that they can incorporate in whatever they are doing in the production of coffee. So I think this one is a very good amendment, and we have to support. Even for 54B2, the board may coordinate coffee stakeholders, including county government, growers, and buyers from national and international. This one is very important. This we support.
I now put the question that new clause 54B be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 54B be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 54B be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 54C.
Mover, 54C.
New clause 54C be now read a second time. Justification read earlier. Thank you.
I now propose the question that new clause 54C be read a second time. The Honorable Dawood.
Chair, I want to say 54C1, the coffee miller and marketing agent shall not lend to farmers on interest, to be removed, shall lend to farmers on interest free. So it should not lend at all. On interest, should lend but not on interest.
The Chair, what do you have to say to that?
What we had actually suggested is, and I think if I may go back when we discussed in the committee, is that we had said that for them to lend to farmers, it has to be approved by the board. Yes, where they should not be allowed to lend to the farmers unless it has been approved by the AGM and minuted, so for them to lend. Thank you. Yeah, so they should not lend directly. It should be from the meeting, the AGM, annual general meeting.
Very well. The Honorable Sangok, you wanted to say something to this? Very well. Honorable members, then allow me to put the question that new clause 54C be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 54C be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 54C be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 54D.
Mover.
Thank you. New clause. I beg to move new clause 54D be now read a second time as it is on the order paper, and the justification I read earlier. Thank you, Chair.
I propose a question that new clause 54D be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 54D be now read a second time. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 54D be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 54D be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of Abakunda opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 58A.
Chair? Second reading? 58A?
A or B? Is it?
A, 58A.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. New clause 58A. I beg to move that it be read a second time. It be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justifications, the proposed new clause 58A seeks to provide for coffee stabilization fund. The fund will help coffee farmers in income and price stabilization, especially during years when coffee prices are plummeted. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 58A be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 58A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 58A be now be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 58A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 87A.
Mover.
Thank you. I beg to move the new clause 87A be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justification, the proposed new clause 87A provides clarity in the case there is conflict, between the provisions of the act and any other act. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 87A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 87A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 87A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 87A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 91A.
Mover, 91A.
Thank you. New clause 91A be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justifications are the bill had not made provision for a number of important offenses which would have the effect of enabling the board run effectively. The amendment provides for these offenses. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that new clause 91A be now read a second time. The Honorable Dawood.
Chair, it should have been 92A and not 91, because 92 is the one which is talking about the penalties and not 91. 91 is dissemination of market information. So I don't know if it was wrongly put there. It should be 92A, not 91.
The Chair, what you will do, because the reasons you gave are actually for 92A, that is good enough, but now give us the justification for 91 so that we make progress. You've done well. Yeah, just give the justification for 91A.
90?
91A.
Let me just repeat it. Maybe I made a mistake here. 91A, the bill had not made provision for a number of important offenses which would have
yeah, you are right. Chair, you are absolutely right. Yeah. It is the Honorable Dawood who is looking at the offenses.
Yes.
And you, the 92 is penal, is yes. the penalty.
Yes.
But 91 is providing for the offense. So yeah. Allow me then, honorable members, to now I now put the question that clause 91A be read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 91A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 91A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 92A.
Chair, 92A, second reading.
92A, sorry. There you go. New clause 92A. Thank you. New clause that I beg, sorry. That new clause 92A be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justifications for 92A is that the proposed new clauses 92A provides for offenses relating to the body corporate. Clause 92 of the bill provides for it, but the amendment seeks to provide for it separately. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that new clause 92A be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 92A be now read a second time. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 92A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 92A be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 102A.
Thank you, Chair. That I beg to move new clause 102A be now read a second time as it is on the order paper. The justifications are that the proposed consequential amendments to the Cooperative Societies Act seek to align the Act to be the bill's proposed new clauses 54C and 54D. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 102A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 102A be now read a second time. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 102A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 102A be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedules, first schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be the first schedule of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore put the question that the first schedule be the first schedule of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be the second schedule of the bill. Chair?
Sorry. Is it this one now?
Amendment to the, you may move for it to be amended as set out in the order paper. That we should do.
Okay. I may move as it is provided in the order paper. The second, the first, the second schedule. It is in here. As the second schedule be amended as it is on the order paper. Sorry for that.
I propose a question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair, you have a proposal to this.
I propose that clause 2 be part be amended as it is in the order paper.
I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose that the title be the title of the bill. And now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. And now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we've completed that, and I will now invite the mover to move reporting.
So,
Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I beg to move that the committee do report to the House the consideration of the coffee bill, Senate Bill number 22 of 2020, and its approval thereof with amendments. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the coffee bill, Senate Bill number 22 of 2020, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, order. Majority will help us with this. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the coffee bill, so Senate Bill number 22 of 2020, and approved the same with amendments.
The Honorable Tiren, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. I also request Honorable Nyangapo to second the motion for agreement with the report on the committee of the whole House. Thank you.
The Honorable Nyangapo.
Honorable Speaker, I support. I second.
Very well, members. I now propose the question which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable members, I would love to do that, but let us just follow the procedure. I direct that the next steps in regard to this business will be undertaken when the matter will be set down on the order paper again, so that that step will be taken. I want to thank you, members, for the diligence that you have showed in sitting out the cause at this difficult time, so that we have completed that task. I am grateful that we have been together on it. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Honorable members, the time being 1:05 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 13th of April, 2022, at 2:30 p.m.